Hello and welcome to week 2. Today I'm going to be sharing with you prompts and chatbots. And of course, I'll always be talking about the assignments and where we are in the course. So let's move on with prompts. So what are prompts? Prompts are a specific set of instructions and tasks that you are sharing with AI. Remember to think of AI as your newest employee. And as such, you need to train them and share with them specifics as to what you like them to do for you. So it's like you've hired the smartest, most far reaching human in the world, meaning they have access to a lot of research, but they know nothing about you. They don't know your tone. They don't know your brand. They don't know your values. So you need to share with them this information and then they remember it. So when you ask them again, that they will use what their past successes were with you. So if they created something for you and it wasn't quite right, and you do not tell them, they will not know and they will continue to create something incorrect. Also, what we're finding with AI is even though you're on something called like the same thread in the same conversation, I'll show you what I mean by those. It's where they shared your conversations or saved your conversations or chats on the side, and you go back to it and you continue something, sometimes they'll forget. So you need to remind them the original prompt and what they've already created that works for you in many cases. So we need to have indication as to exactly what you want. You need to give them the context as to what we're talking about in your company. Don't be vague. And then we need to indicate where the data that they're going to use is coming from and how you want the output presented. I like tables because that's how my brain thinks. So I prefer tables and bullets over paragraphs. So this is prompts. So how you actually talk to AI so it helps you the way you'd like it to help. These are some files I've currently created for my coffee break learning tutorial system, online system. And these were created by Notebook LM, which I'll have a whole session for you on later on. But I love Notebook LM and I like how it incorporated this into my information. So the prompt is a set of instructions. As I said, think of AI as your newest employee. They don't read your mind. AI doesn't read your mind. It follows your directions and you need to be clear. The clearer you are, the better it is. So, for example, a vague question is write me a marketing plan or describe my business. That is so vague. You're going to get a very vague answer that's going to start guessing on who you are and what you are. So this is why many fail with AI. So let's share with you how you actually do it. You need to share it. You need to talk to AI using a method I created called the REACT method. It's a REACT formula that really helps you guide you to make sure that the way you're talking to AI or the prompts that you share with it are always using these techniques. So who is AI? When you're talking to it, are you asking it as a new employee to be your brand strategist in that moment? Or are you asking it to be an HR expert? Or are you asking it to be an expert in a specific industry? So who is AI in this moment? Which employee is it? Okay. And then your expectations. What do you need from AI? Do you need a table, which is what I prefer? Do you need paragraphs? Do you need a full business plan? What is it you're expecting from them? And then actions. Create it using these details. What is it going to use to create this information? Is it going to do research on its own and hopefully you're going to ask it to cite its sources? Or are you going to give it a whole bunch of documents and you're asking it to summarize it into one table? What action? So what create it using which details? And then context. What information does it need? So what does it need information about your products? Does it need information about your brand? Does it need information as to so what context does it need? Sometimes in this case, in the second part, what tone would you like it to use? Do you want it to be professional? Do you want it to be quirky? Do you want it to be something where it's actually welcoming? Do you want it to be educational? Do you want it to be a user's guide? What tone do you want it to use? And often you can show it now examples of past information that you created that shares with it your tone and your brand and things that you like about the way you the way you walk and the way you talk. So it knows. That really helps giving it examples of past. So this is kind of cool. Now, as you create this prompt, you can actually iterate and ask it to, okay, once it starts giving you the information you want, you can ask it to give you the prompt you should have used in the first place. This is huge. Once you ask it to give you the prompt you should have used in the first place to create the output you wanted, then what people for best practices do are they save the prompts. They create their own prompt library. And that's critical because that way it saves you a lot of time later on if you have to go back and redo something like what you've just done. So there are many different types of prompts that are important. I think one of the most important one to start with is to define your value proposition. We're going to talk more about that in marketing. But you ask AI as a brand strategist to help you define your value proposition. Because once then you employ AI and you agree on what your value proposition is, then it kind of drives how it should be structuring and what it's stressing and what pain points you're solving. So it's powerful to do this first. And we're going to talk about this specifically when we do marketing and business development. So in our first assignment together, I wanted you to share your AI self. And sometimes people have done this in the past with your superhero story. So you could basically then, if you wanted to, create your value proposition yourself and then ask it to frame it in a unique way where it creates your superhero story. So I kind of like that idea for your first assignment if you want. I mean, like I said, you can create whatever you like as your first assignment. It could be a superhero, could be an action figure, it could be your clone. But all I'm asking you to do is introduce yourself. But a cool way to do it is to jump right in and use AI to help create your value proposition. So ask it, I want you to help me create my value proposition. What prompt should I use? So it's going to tell you a prompt. So one example would be role brand strategist, help me define my value proposition, use the structure, who I serve, their problems, my unique solutions, and my business details, and then enter your details there, indicate who you serve, what their problems are, what their unique solutions are. And you can ask AI for help to put more meat on each of these topics. And then ask it, your expectations are is a powerful paragraph and one sentence elevator pitch as to who you are. So you do this the first time, it's going to come back and it might miss the mark. So you say, well, I prefer to do this in my company versus that. So eventually it comes out with a really powerful value proposition for you. So then you can take that and turn it into, if you want, your superhero story, if you like. So that's just a thought process if you want. So this is great for your branding. It makes it fun, makes you approachable. A story of an action figure and a photo of an action figure of you in what you do could be very powerful. So this is my trading card. I showed it to you last week. I have my phone and my cell and my dogs and my kayak and my website on there. I went into Canva and I added my logo to it. So AI business leader, trainer by day, extraordinary wife and dog mom by night. So and then it added these things for me on the back of my bio trading card. So you never know what it's going to come up with. It could be something you'll use, could be something you don't like, but it's kind of fun to try. So pro prompts, one of my favorite prompts in the whole world, and again, we'll talk about it in more detail next week, is your competitive scan prompt. Asking AI, now that it knows what your value proposition and who you are, asking it to share with you who your competitors are. And so it says, if so, you could ask it to set up your competitive scan. You are a marketing analyst, AI. Ask me 7 questions you need to perform a competitive analysis. So it'll ask you where you're located, who your target market might be, what your products and services are, and then it's going to go out and come back for you with your competitors. And then what I like to do, and I'll share that with you in a few slides, is a SWOT analysis, their strengths, weaknesses, the threats in the marketplace, and your opportunities. Now that it knows your value proposition, it knows your competitors, it's now going to it'll give you the ability to give you a SWOT analysis. And then this part is golden, getting AI to help you with your segmentation setup. I love this as well. The segmentation setup helps you understand and really differentiate each of your target markets, how old they are, what their pain points are, how you can approach them. So again, I'm going to share more with you next week. I'm planting some seeds now with how helpful your prompts can be. So you're the director. Basically, you're asking AI to do these things for you. It will give you back answers, and you need to tweak and say where it's right or wrong. If this is something you're actually now writing for a board of directors, writing for a bank if you need a business plan, writing for your marketing information, writing for staff onboarding, you need to be the final say on anything AI creates, even if it's just for your social media, because that's what everyone sees. So you have to ask it prompts in a proper way, which we're talking about today using the React approach. And then you will go back and forth tweaking it. You could then say, okay, once you have something that you really like, how would I have gotten this prompt? What prompt should I have used in the first place? And I'm going to show you examples of all of this. And then you need to then go in and tweak it yourself. And once you have what you really want, I usually feed that back to AI and say, this is what I'm going with. And it'll understand, oh, yeah, okay, I see what you did there. So it'll do that next time. Pretty cool, right? So definition of prompt, we talked about that. The range of prompts. Okay, so the range of prompts are, you could have like a simple question, and that's often where people stop. They just create a simple question about a prompt and they stop there and they use it like Google, which is not what you want to do. What you're doing is having it go deeper, so it's actually creating matrices, it's creating images, it's creating videos perhaps. So it's creating content that is specific to your needs. But what's really cool is you can also ask it to act as a consultant for you or educate you on a specific topic. So now these are complex commands where where you're asking it complex, and it's growing in the conversation with you as you go along. And that is really cool. So you can say, okay, we're about to create a business plan. I'd like you to ask me questions, and while I'm answering them, ask me, take the answer, and then ask me the next question, and then with the answers I'm giving you, build me a 5-page business plan. So it'll actually, by the time you're finished, build you the business plan. Or you can say to it, okay, I am going for a job interview. This is the company. Tell it the company. Here's the person that's interviewing me. If you have their LinkedIn link, this is the role I'm going for. I am now pretending to come in for an interview. I want you to give me interview questions that this person would give me. So that's powerful. Or turn it the other way. You're interviewing somebody, or perhaps you have an employee where you have a difficult situation, or perhaps you're going to someone and you're trying to raise some funds for a nonprofit that you're working with, or you have members that in a chamber of commerce that you run, and you'd like to share with them some other programs that they may not be familiar with. Have AI look at your website, look at your communication, ask it for ask it for advice on how you can better um, put your message in front of your members so they understand it. Have it help you understand who your segments are, who your members are, what their pain points are, and how your benefits can solve their pains. So it's a different way of having a conversation than just talking to Google. You kind of get that, right? So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. So important of creating clear prompts. We talked about that. This is when I first started working with AI. These were some of the approaches, and you'll find this if you're taking AI training. Elsewhere, you're going to find that it's going to say be specific, avoid ambiguity, provide examples, as we said, step-by-step instructions if you want. Remember, it's a new employee. Highlight constraints. Perhaps you're not only going to say it's a word, sorry, it's a table. Maybe you want 5 columns. Maybe you only want 6 rows. Like, give it some constraints. If this needs to be 500 characters, tell it how long it needs to be and the format, and then offer content up front, and then experiment. So when it gives this to you, then say, okay, I need you to try to change this. Please, adjust my prompt to include this aspect that I completely forgot. And so it is going to start over again for you. So here's just a video you can check out on your own that helps explain to you writing the perfect prompt. And I love this video, so I just wanted to share it with you. She does a great job. So I like to write a prompt and then try it in ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini. Often is what I do. I might try it in all 3. Recently, I've been only working through ChatGPT and Gemini. I used to do all 3. Now, if I'm going direct for help, I use ChatGPT and Gemini. If I'm in Microsoft, I use the Copilot that's built into Microsoft. If I'm in the Google world, I use Gemini that's built into Gemini. We talked about that in the very first lecture together. So pretend I'm in chatgpt.com. The prompt goes there. You ask it anything you like there. So that's where your prompt goes. And you can attach, if you wanted to attach documents for it to look at, if you're referring to certain documents or PDFs, if you want it to look at a YouTube video and have it summarize these videos, so there's a lot of different things you can attach to it or ask it to look at while you're doing this. And then any of your chats that you've had in the past, it'll be down here, your chats. So then this is if you're on your phone, you can download the app, and the app's logo looks like that. It's the ChatGPT app, and you ask anything you like there. And then once you go away and you come back, anything you asked on your phone or on your laptop version will be saved for you on the side. So that's where the prompt goes. For Copilot, which is copilot.microsoft.com, it's very similar. Your question goes here. If you need to attach a photo for it to look at, maybe you want it to add something to a photo, maybe you want it to analyze a photo to give you information, maybe you want it to create a photo that's similar to what you're looking at, maybe you want a marketing message, whatever you need. And again, Gemini, this is what it looks like. Ask Gemini. You write it down there. If you have it on your phone, this is what the app looks like for your app on your phone. Integrated apps, I showed this to you last week. Your prompt, if I'm on Microsoft, you click on this and you write your prompt down here and so forth. So here's examples of all sorts of different prompts. I'll create a prompt library for you as we go through the course. If you have prompts that you want to share with the rest of the students, please feel free to share them. I find that that's a big learning for everybody. So planning a client event or planning a nonprofit event, planning your board event, a team event, having AI help you is huge. From the types of activities you can do at the event, from what are all the venues within maybe 60 kilometers of a certain location that you might think of having this event that offers certain services. And it comes up with an amazing list of places that you may have forgotten are in your location. Expanding your business. We had some businesses that we worked with in the past that were part of this course that were looking to expand their businesses just to 2 hours away. They wanted to open up a new location, and they were looking to see, okay, where should we do it based on which locations have similar demographics to people that want my product, but they're not offering my product there. It's very helpful for that. And staying ahead of the competition. I've had businesses who have taken this class, and what they've done is they have AI, once we identify what their competitive matrix is, what their value is, proposition, then their competitive matrix, then we look at their segmentation, then we have it go back on a weekly basis and come up with a competitive report as to what the competitors are doing and how they suggest what you do to stay ahead of them. Writing grants. This is huge. There's a lot of people out there, and there's a lot of grants out there, rather, that exist, but we often don't have the cycles to write a grant. So imagine coming up with a perfect prompt for a grant where you're uploading the grant. It now knows your information and it's able to write this grant for you and you submit it. You'll be winning a lot more grants using that, right? Knowing your keywords, knowing your SEO and GEO. So I'm going to introduce that in a whole separate video that I just created for Coffee Break Learning that I'll share with you here. Keywords is how you get your website found and your blogs found. GEO is generative engine optimization, is how you get AI to find you. So it's asking AI what you could do better on your website for your keywords, as well as for AI to find you, and that's called GEO. So I'm going to have a whole little video on that for 20 minutes. And then identifying gaps. I love that. Just asking AI to look at your Google listing or to look at your Facebook or to look at your LinkedIn or to look at your website or look at your AI footprint. What could you do to improve? What are your gaps? And it comes back with a plan. That's huge, right? So fill the gaps. Or if you've already written a business plan, what are my gaps? Or if you've already written a grant, what are my gaps? Or if you already have an event plan, feed it the event plan, what are your gaps? So here's your card. So that's pretty cool, right? And then we've got how to reach your clients, your partners, or your channels. That's brilliant, right? So you can ask it, okay, so I am trying to raise money for such and such in this community. How do I get to the people that are interested in helping me? So it's going to figure out what pain are you solving by getting these people attention. Why are they interested and how might they want to help you and why are they helping you? So how do you now reach them so they hear what they're looking for? So that's pretty cool. Social media posts, of course. With what I do for a living, I help people with their social media as well. I'm able to go in and show it the posts I have done in the past, what I'm trying to achieve this month, and ask it for recommendations on posts. Then when I see things that I like, I say, okay, help me write posts around this, or I write a blog on a specific topic. And then I ask it to help me write posts. So I'll show you all those as well. Analyzing financials. That's huge, but you want to be careful. I would do that using only my Copilot built into Excel or my Gemini built into my sheets. I would not put up private financials into ChatGPT and ask it to analyze it. So do not use browser-based AI for financials because that's private information that you do not want to get out there. So I have a whole bunch of prompts here that may or may not be of interest to you, so I'm not going to get into them in detail, but they're there for you to come back to if it's something that you'd like. So planning an event, this is a great prompt for planning an event. So what you're going to find in a prompt is you'll find curly brackets or just square brackets through a prompt. What's that? So what that is saying, I'm in the process of doing blank, in this case, process of organizing an event. So here, where it says event, down here, you can go in and indicate the type of event. Is this a product launch? Is it a customer appreciation? Is it a nonprofit fundraiser? Like, what is it you're looking at? What's the date? So you put in the date down here. What's the area? Where are you looking to have it? A number of people, if that's appropriate. So you can put in the information. And in this case, what I'm looking for are the least expensive, along with the details and amenities of places that I might have this event at. So that's what this one was for. Customer service and sales, knowing my clients. I love this. I have an industry, whatever your industry is, in a specific area. My demographics, so what's your demographics, the age, the sex, the income level, and then the area, and list the top keywords they would use to find my product or service. So that would be interesting. I would also indicate, now what we'll do this next week is what their pain points are and how my products and services solve their pain points. You'll see how we create a whole marketing plan based on that. So single prompts, three distinctions. So I will show you now in a single prompt that I used in Gemini, ChatGPT, and Copilot, and you'll see what the distinction is. So in this case, can you please improve this post? It's for a specific company. Here's example of what I was going to write in the post, and I was going to show a photo of the post of the product that I'm showcasing, maybe a product or someone holding it. Because if you've taken any of my social media courses in the past, you'll know the best photos for social media are those with an authentic human holding a product or talking about a product. So don't go away from that because you're using AI. So I still prefer when you show a real human to accompany the text, and then I put in the company information. So once I've done this a few times in the companies and in a chat, and it understands when I go back to the thread that I'm looking for a specific company information, it now knows certain things about that company. And it also knows the voice, and it knows how I want it to behave. So here's an example. Ready? Just so let's just see what my original uh, prompt was for you. Let me go live. Here we go. So I gave it this photo. So this happens to be of Tressler Shoes, which is in Peterborough, Coburg, and Belleville. And that's Kara. She's the owner of the company. It's a family-run company, so she's the daughter. And so I gave this to it as a photo. I said, "Can you make this post more exciting? We want people to click on it and read the blog." So Kara wrote a blog about how to care for your shoes in the fall. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put up this. And so there's water readiness, support and comfort, the right fit, bonus with all the footwear. So she's written this. So I've taken the whole blog. I have put it there for ChatGPT to look at. And then, sorry, I'm in Gemini right here, gemini.google.com. I'm in Gemini. So I've given this whole photo to Gemini and the blog. And so it says ready for posts that'll stop them from scrolling. So this is the post. Now for me, I never put in emojis. I take the emojis out because that's just not something we do at this company. So stop letting unpredictable Ontario weather ruin your fall investment. Kara, our owner. So I didn't even tell this AI that this was Kara, but it knew and recognized her from previous posts that it's helped me do. So it says Kara, our owner, is holding Burke's coziness that everyone wants right now, but finding the right shoe for messy. So it goes on and it tells me what I might decide to write. And then it says, click here to claim your first, waterproof spray, because that's something else that was in there. So, and so then I say, excellent. What would you do for a follow-up recommendation? So now it's giving me follow-up activity that I might be looking to do, and it's giving me solid posts that I might be looking at later, like a sock and fit reminder 7 days later. And it's actually even created this photo as to what I might put out there, indicating the wrong socks for the wrong shoe. It's going to, ruin your shoe. So that's pretty cool, right? So it does go on, and I think that's brilliant. So I hope that makes an impact for you. And so let's just continue. So so this was Gemini response. ChatGPT's response. Let's go see what it did. So here is ChatGPT's response. So I put in the same photo and I put in the same prompt, and this is what it came back with. So protect your fall investment and click here to read more. Our owner Kara loves these cozy clogs. I went with this one if I recall because I thought it was a little more friendly And so I thought it was excellent. So I gave it that feedback that it was excellent. And then it gave me this photo, which I didn't like. So I ended up going with their photo, the other photo from Gemini for the sock rule. So that's kind of cool. So I always use the two. So you can see what I mean. I like using the two of them because they have a different perspective, and I try to train them both to help me out the best possible. Okay, and so then I'm just going to continue, and then it asks me on ChatGPT if it would like a shorter version, under 80 words. It's giving me what it thinks the best hashtags would be. Copilot's response came back. It was actually pretty good. Discover your soulmate, and I do remember I did like theirs as well, and it was Meet Kara. So they all knew who Kara was, and they all helped me out with the post. So, what kind of content do you think you'd want to create or create more of? And there's so many different types of content out there. I'm not going to read these all to you, but I've been showing you text content. You could also have podcasts or scripts. So I use social media. Sorry, I use AI quite a bit when I want to know what I should say in a video. Or if I'm asking it for a script that's exactly 2 minutes on a specific topic, and I give it my information on that topic, and I say, make a 2 minute script that then I'm going to use with my clone. So I update the script to my clone. So I read the script, make sure it sounds like me, and then I upload it to my clone. That's been a big help, especially if I want something to be exactly 2 minutes. Or podcasts. If I want to upload to my clone and my clone's interviewer a podcast where someone is interviewing my clone on something, then I use it to help me create the podcast text. So there's so much you can do with that. Product descriptions. A lot of people are going through all of their product descriptions online and having AI help them change their product description so it has the right keywords and solving pain points once they know that. Home listings, it's helping real estate agents with home listings and so much more. And here's a whole bunch of information you can help that AI can help you with, from strategy planning, HBoard onboarding, operations, standard operating procedures, step-by-step guidelines. AI can create these documents and you can use them for training, customer service, for your chatbots, helping your chatbots understand how to reply and where to get information. So it has all the information your clients might ever want. Data analysis, looking at your current data, looking at all your reviews and finding out where your weak points might be, or looking at your competitors' reviews and finding where their weak points might be. Okay, I'm going to be right back. So, as I mentioned before, you can ask AI to be a complex business coach in any different aspect, whether it's strategic, whether it's financial planning, whether it's human resources, whether it's yourself going out for a job interview. There's so many different aspects. So, here's just some content type for you and how you might want to use prompts. And like I said, I will create a whole file for you of prompts. I can go on for just reading them if you wanted me to, but I think that'd be pretty boring. But and I'd love to know what prompts you are going to find useful. But business valuation model, that one's huge. And so many of you may already know what that is, but that's creating your whole business canvas and having AI help you create that. Long-term strategic plans, navigating through your forecasts, and you can even get into marketing plans, marketing strategies, helping you create your marketing plan or even your customer objections. I love that, how to handle customer objections. Even ask it to role play with you if you like. Ethical AI policy drafting, that one is making sure that you are covering ethically how you're behaving and using and identifying when you're using AI. Ask it for its help based on where you're using AI. Our onboarding grant proposal, as I mentioned. So there's so many different ways to use AI, but I'll help you understand that as we go forward and create that file for you. So I like this because educational blogs, I think, are important. That still positions you as the expert when it comes to SEO And when it comes to AI finding your information, it'll cite you as the information, it'll use you as the answer if you're answering pain points that you know your client has, because that's what they're asking AI. That's what they're asking Google. How do I do this? What are my solutions? Well, write about that and get AI to help you write about that. So please write an educational blog on blank 5 ways that you're solving the pain points your client has. And here's an example of how you might use that. And I just want to show you an example of one that I just did for my husband's company on um, spring opening for cottages, basically, for rural property services. So if I go to his website, what we did on his site was we created this blog with the help of AI. So we asked AI what are 5 ways that rural homeowners or cottagers might be able to get help based on the services AI knows my husband has on his website. So based on this services, it came up with 5 ways that uh, his services solve the pain of these people that are his target audiences in specific locations. So it's indicated the locations, it's used all his keywords, it's indicated one of the pain points, calling one contractor versus 5 for all of these things. Then it talks about why this is important, removing debris, fallen branches, making sure that you have someone do this for you with the right equipment. Driveway grading saves your vehicles and your uh, and drainage. Docks replacing, being put back the right way. Small excavations with the right equipment, and why trust them because they have 30 years of experience. So that's pretty cool, right? So you can see all of this information. We basically asked AI for a blog and it came back with this information. Then we asked it to create some social media posts, again, based on that blog. And so this says spring work decides how your entire summer feels. So from debris fill, fallen fences. So it's showing what the services are and to book soon. And then this one says, spring will be here before you know it. And it's again talking about what it is that they might do for their clients. So it's pretty cool. And then the prompt that they used for it, I used the same prompt, like always, in ChatGPT as well as in Gemini, and this is what it looks like. So if I go here and I look at my recent projects under here, Spring Cottage Opening Solutions, if I show you what we did here, we've gotten into uh, the original prompt. Here it is. This is all the information that came out from this original prompt where I asked it for 5 elements that please write an educational blog on 5 ways my target audience can use our Spring Cottage Opening Bundled service to address their related pain points and how services will help them heal their pains. Write 5 social media posts back to this blog. Let me know what photos or videos I should use to target my audience, rural homeowners, GTA cottage owners, all in I told them the area. So it gave it all that information, told it what to create, and here's the blog that it created. And then I tweaked it to make sure it was correct, of course, because you always have to give it the final review because it may not be correct. And then gave me 5 posts that I might choose to use. And then afterwards, I gave it a photo of a beautiful dock that I was sitting on last year. And I said, add to this photo, which was my photo because I wanted it to be realistic in this area. A man with his grandson throwing a stick for a dog, and the grandson fishing. What I didn't like about it was that it looked like the dog was going to be hooked by the fishing rod. So then I changed it and asked it to put all three of them just sitting on the dock rather. So pretty cool, right? So all that happened while I was creating the notes for the course, and I wanted to show debris. I wanted to show all of this information that I already had, all these photos from past work that he's done, and it was able to help me through that and talk me back and forth on what I should do, give me some pro tips, and ask me, does it want me to Haskell to help create a Canva reel, or shortened to 7 seconds, or to adapt it to for Facebook and the Google business profile that it knows we have. So pretty cool, right? So all of that, all from this one prompt, where we are asking it to give me a prompt for educational purposes. So let's go from current slide. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I had it do. And I asked it also on Copilot to create the photo, and it was a big fail. As you can see, the dog seems to be standing on water, and so does the man, and they seem to be throwing stuff into the canoe. So there's some spatial issues there. So just I do it on all three, and sometimes Copilot nicely surprises me, but not this time. It was a big fail. So I just wanted to share that with you. So one of the big things that I'll show you next week when we talk about business development is SWOTs. Strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. I love using AI to help me understand what all those aspects are when I'm growing a business. So I'm going to share with you some prompts on how to do that. These are the prompts, so they're here for you if you'd like to use them ahead of time. It's I'm asking it to become a strategist expert, and it's able to then help me understand my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it gives you a plan on what you should do based on this information. That is really powerful. So here I'm just pretending it's a specific company in a specific area and where it was located. And you can see then what it does. So you can look through this on your own if you like. And I asked Gemini, ChatGPT, and Copilot the same prompt. And these were the outcomes that came from all of them. They were pretty intense and very, very useful and very helpful. So here's the QR code to the prompt list for you. Again, you'll have access to that whenever you want it for the next year, actually. So customer service and sales, we'll get into that later, but I love this one, knowing your demographics and your segmentation of your clients. This is a powerful one we'll get into next week, as well as the marketing. Press releases is huge for marketing as well. And that's because you need to have cited sources. You need to have others pointing to you with your name properly and your services. And so if you can get press releases out there, that's huge. So getting AI to help you write the press releases and understand how to get your press releases actually uh, uh, put into digital form by other sources is huge. So that's why this one is so important. That will help you get cited by AI and help you get found on SEO still. So this one we're going to talk about next week as well. And I have a whole other video, and we're going to continue on how to create chatbots on another video. So thank you very much. And I hope you found that useful. Prompts, big, big topic.